Hey Rawheads, it's Jesse again with another episode of Raw and Roasted. Now, again, this is going to be episode 5. Last episode, I kind of messed that up in the beginning because the comedian, Dante, screwed me up with his hand gestures, and I didn't know what he was meaning, so I thought he was meaning that I was messing up my episode number, and then I was high at the time, so I agreed with him, and so that's kind of what happened, but it is episode 5, and before, I did have a host to begin with in the first 2 episodes, X, but he had to leave the show for unknown reasons. And so I was kind of alone. And then I reached out to a friend of mine that I've known for a little bit now. And he was all down for it. And he's actually been thinking about it for a while. So welcome, Mark. Hang on. Get this media thing going.
Happy to be here. Now, podcasting is something that I've been wanting to get into for a long time, so glad to kind of get a start in it, and excited to see what happens.
Hell yeah. And I swear to God, I'll get better with this media board and soundboard shit. It's just, I'm getting used to everything and stuff like that. Plus, eventually we're going to have a producer on the line that will be able to log in and stuff like that and be able to message us and shit. So, but in the meantime, we'll make do with what we have. Right. So, funny thing is actually right before I was hopping on here, I got like a one of those Twitter alert things or whatever for things that you're not actually following, and it said something about Elon Musk and Donald Trump are apparently going to be meeting to talk on Monday, and then Kamala Harris he's interested in speaking with. I don't really know what the purpose of that is going to entail. I don't know if you have any ideas on the subject, but it's the first time I'm hearing about this.
Politics are an interesting topic nowadays for sure, especially with what recently happened with Donald Trump and everything like that. I like to consider myself somewhere in the middle, but I think it's an interesting deal. I was reading a thing where Vance was talking about Kamala on the tarmac waiting for Air Force Two to come in, so I don't know. It's interesting. We live in a very hostile political climate. I work with a lot of the older generation, and a lot of them too. I've asked them if they've ever seen a political climate such as this, and a lot of them are just as shocked as us. They've never really seen an election, a time like this. They've never seen a political climate this bad.
Those are the same people that barely use the internet for what it's actually used for.
True. So I don't know. It's interesting. You know, I try and keep my mind open to everything going around. I don't really choose a side in that one. I stay right in the middle. I feel like you kind of have to, especially now.
But my question is like, why would Donald Trump and Elon Musk be meeting? And then he said he's open to interviewing Kamala Harris. What, for a fucking job? Like, I don't understand what.
Well, I mean, you heard her thoughts on cloud data, right? Did you end up seeing that video?
I'm gonna be honest. I do not watch the news at all. I stopped after high school after I had to do like those current event shits, and yeah, especially after Bernie lost, I lost faith in everything that was media or politics or anything.
So I don't even watch the news, but it's like been all over TikTok where she was going on and on about cloud computing. I'd have to pull up the video to remember exactly all of it, but it's hilarious because she clearly has no idea what she's talking about as far as cloud computing goes, which is interesting that you bring up her meeting with Elon Musk, who is a tech-centric billionaire.
It's funny how it's okay. So Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are the same in the aspect of they do not know most of the time of what they're talking about. But Donald Trump has that thing where he's a good salesman, so he's able to sell that bullshit. That's the difference between Kamala Harris and him. And also, I got into a little argument with my wife the other day about Kamala Harris because I was explaining about her staying after at like the Megan Thee Stallion concert and like trying to peak that demographic and stuff like that when she was never about that life, like growing up and stuff like that. And she's colored, like she points out. I'm like, that's not what she's doing. I was like, this is politics. You got to understand there are rules. People do this for game. Yeah, that's the thing. Like and I brought up the whole thing about Barack Obama the one time when he was in Flint, Michigan, and he stopped his meeting and he was like, "Can I get a glass of water?" And they brought him a glass of water, and then he took the fakest sip that you could fucking see, and he didn't take any water in him because he was like, "I'm not taking any of that Michigan shit into my body."
Well, it's just like
And
when Donald Trump brings like rappers on stage. It's the whole thing of you're trying to attract a certain crowd to increase your voters. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
if he wins, it's going to be these new streamers that are causing him to win. To be
Well,
honest, because I don't know if you saw that recent video of Aiden Ross supplying
I
him with a
was
Tesla truck.
just about to say something that he did a big giant stream with Aiden Ross, and it was huge. And it's same thing. It's you're just trying to attract a crowd so that when it comes election time, you have the most voters possible. You're trying to sway as many people to your side, so you'll do anything. It's a chess game. It's really what it is. Who can win what demographic to support them at election day?
Right. I mean, it's going to be interesting once November comes. That's why we're trying to get her papers started and immigration thing started prior to him if he gets in office, because we don't know what is going to happen with the immigration policies and all that other shit with green cards and all that nonsense. So at least that's what we got from like a lawyer telling us what to do. They were like, we urge you to probably do it beforehand because you never know what can happen.
Get ahead of the game.
Um,
I did not know that your wife was not native to the U.S.
no, yeah, she's from Honduras. So yeah, that was the first time that I ever knew that was a country.
I was gonna say it's the first. As bad as it sounds, that's the first time I'm hearing about it. So
you want to know what's crazy is you know that have you ever watched this show Superstore?
yeah, I did.
Okay,
You're talking about Mateo?
no, the main character Amy, she's Honduran.
Okay.
Yeah,
That makes
she
sense.
my wife pulled that out of her ass and like said that she's like she's Honduran. I was like really? I was like wow. I was like, and I've seen her so many times before you, and like I never thought about
Yeah,
Honduran or Honduras or whatever. But yeah, she's lived most of her life here. It's just she messed up going back to Honduras and then coming back. That was the whole thing. Like, but when she came back, she was given what was it called? Extended
like an
parole or
extended
whatever.
visa or something.
It was something along the lines of that, extended parole. And because of that, she's not in big, or she's not in such trouble where like it's gonna be that big of an issue to get her green card or get her citizenship. Like if she didn't have that, it would have been a whole different story. But the fact that she came back the legal way and everything like that, then it's fine. Which she did. She came through the border and everything like that and stuff like that. And which sucks because we also got to do that for my daughter too, because she was born in Honduras along when she was over there. So when she brought her back, she was not a citizen. Luckily my son was here, so now he doesn't have to deal with any of that bullshit. He's golden. But yeah, fucking.
How did you
It,
two end up meeting? If you don't mind me asking. It's interesting to be on complete like
Tinder.
different ends of the globe. Oh, Tinder. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
She was living in Kentucky, and then she moved to Syracuse. I want to say probably within like the month of me meeting her or whatever, with her kids and well, our kids now, but she was staying with her stepdad, and I met her through Tinder. We had a couple dates, and then I met the kids and everything, and then the rest was history. And then now she doesn't really even talk to that stepdad anymore. And yeah, but hopefully he doesn't watch this. Anyway, yeah. So, but yeah. Moving away from the family topic. Anyway, so for our guests at home, next episode we are going to have a guest called Famous Rico on. And I was. I believe he'll be good with me promoting his music and showing his video, because his video doesn't have like an extreme amount of views, so it's not like I'm blowing up a spot or taking copyrights or anything like that. So I did want to show you guys and show you who we're talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. So This is Famous Rico. So Famous Rico is part of We the Family. So We the Family is a brand new label. They're just over a year old. They were created by Trav Terrell, who has been in the music industry for the last, I want to say, 9 or 8 years. Like right after I got out of high school was when like he got into it. And I found his music way back when, and I've been listening to his music ever since. And I reached out to him, and me and him have been texting back and forth and stuff like that. And he's well, one, he loves the podcast. Two, he's already been on it, and then three, he plans on having everybody from We the Family on here. But I did want to show you guys who we're going to be having up next. But the song I wanted to play was, I think it is the song.
As an interior designer running a business, I often tackle tasks outside of my expertise. That's where Fiverr comes in. You chose to leave this your loss.
I must have been playing it already. Okay, here we go. Famous Rico going up with the family.
Oh yeah, we going up now. Oh yeah, we going up now. Nah, 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 nah. Oh yeah, we going up now. Nah, 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 nah. Oh yeah, we going up, dripping all of this sauce, baby. You chose to leave this your loss, babe. I know you'd rather be with your friends, so let the fun begin. I'm stepping out, shake it off, baby. They telling me to toughen up. We got women and models in the club, and I just want you. Oh yeah, we going up, nah, 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 nah. Oh yeah, we going up, nah, 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 nah. Oh yeah, we going up, nah, 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 nah. Oh yeah, we going up, nah, 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 nah. Can't explain it, I've been thinking, baby. Sometimes I just want your touch. It's so amazing, girl, it drives me crazy. It was hard to give it up, but I had to move on. Move on, let go of love. Girl, I feel so crazy when I'm not with you, baby. Sometimes I just miss your love. I know you've been around the world and you've seen a lot of faces, but you never seen this love. Though we ended the relation, sometimes I think of you, baby, cause this drink got me fucked up. Oh yeah, we going up now, nah, nah. Oh yeah, we going up, nah, 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 nah. Oh yeah, we going up, nah, 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 nah.
I mean, that is Famous Rico from We the Family is going up. He will be on our next podcast episode, and that will be released actually on Monday because we'll be filming and recording on Sunday. And sorry, I'm just trying to get the thing to stay. All right, there we go. All right. Nope, didn't mean to do that. Here we go. All right. But yeah, so he'll be on, and then after him is gonna be a guy named Peso 3X. He's gonna be out of town, I guess. I think he's either doing a live performance or doing something somewhere else, so he won't be in town at that day. Or at least this weekend. But yeah, and then hopefully eventually we're gonna get better guests down the road and stuff like that. I'm gonna talk to Dante and see if he has any cool clients that might be able to pop on and stuff like that. But so what is going on in the world nowadays, actually?
I know we follow a lot of the same comedians. Did you see the one of the more recent episodes of this past weekend? It's got Tommy Lee on there as a guest from Motley Crue.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought Tommy Lee was dead.
Should be in at least 3 states, but
Yeah.
he's still kicking. He's on the last episode of this past weekend, dude, and he was talking with Theo. And the most interesting thing that I picked up from it was apparently he's very into Tommy Lee's very into bonsai trees. They're like those little trees that you sit there and you trim and you shape them, and it's something that I would never think someone like Tommy Lee would find a pleasure in. I thought that was very interesting.
That is very weird. And did he explain that on why or no?
Yeah, essentially, the reason why he likes it so much is because since Motley Crue took off, they've been going for all these years nonstop, and this allows him to kind of relax. It's kind of like his meditation almost. He sits there and trims the trees and.
Well, I mean, I guess that's what those bonsai fucking trees are for, right? They're for meditation, I guess. Right. That and then like art, I guess, in a sense, it's kind of.
He was explaining that you gotta like wire them a certain way with like different gauge wires to like shape them into what you perceive as like art.
Okay. I mean, freaking. I mean, that is weird. But well, speaking of art, there's a lot of fuck, dude. My back is fucking killing me. There was something I found earlier. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. So, nope, that's not what I meant to write. What the hell? Okay, my phone needs to move. Oh, this. So
we definitely need a guy to pull stuff up. He's just had this.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Eventually, we're gonna have somebody to pull this shit up. Anyway, the fucking okay. So, how do I even explain this fucking shit? So, well, where's the actual fucking story? Photographs, fucking. Okay, well. Okay, never mind. I can't find it. I thought that was it. Never mind. Whatever. Forget it. I lied. Have you you haven't seen the new Deadpool and Wolverine, have you?
I made a little mental list of things that I wanted to talk about that was actually on it. So I did go see it. I seen it just a couple days ago, actually.
Okay, don't spoil any fucking thing for me. I've been dodging. Spoiler-free. YouTube has been a goddamn minefield. Same thing with Facebook.
Facebook's even. Yep, I was about to say Facebook's even worse. No, I won't spoil nothing. But it was pretty good. If you're really into comics and you've kind of been invested in the Marvel, not even in the comics, but in the movies the past few years while they're establishing the MCU and all the changes with Disney buying Fox are taking place. Like it's very exciting because I know specifically like. I will say there's some characters that make an appearance that is very unexpected, and it made me very happy.
I'll
leave it there.
I just want to ask if these two characters are in it because they're two characters that are deep. I'm
not going to tell you the truth either way. You made me deep promise no spoilers.
They're deep cuts from X-Men, so like it'd be random for them to be in it anyway. So like I wouldn't be it wouldn't be like ruining anything for me. But Toad or what's his fucking it's funny that I forgot his name when that's literally his superpower. Forget me man or forget my name or forget fucking what's his name? It's something like that. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. The dude who his superpower is for people to forget him, but like he saved the X-Men and like the Avengers many fucking times.
I'm not gonna spoil nothing, but I'll say that you'll definitely see like I'll give you a little hint in that, like, I recently been rewatching all the X-Men movies. You'll see familiar faces in them for sure.
Well, yeah, that I also know Channing. I already saw it because it popped
It's
up in one of my
everywhere.
short thing. Yeah, and they
I know
keep
what you're
making a
gonna
meme
talk
of him
about. Yep.
because with his stupid fucking hair and shit like that. Because
Correct. That's one split. I actually liked that. I liked that. He looked very comic book accurate. You could tell he actually put effort into learning that dialect, Creole. It's very interesting. I would actually be excited if they made a spin-off movie just for that version of Gambit.
Now, how long is the movie?
I
Is
don't
it
think
2 hours?
I think it's like 2 hours. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
remember exactly. I think it's like 2 hours and some change.
Like
But
I started. What?
it's worth every minute. That's all I was gonna add there.
I was gonna. I started the torrent illegal link or whatever, but it's garbage. But like I did know that I know in the beginning that fucking Deadpool starts singing the fucking MCU song. He's like, God, I love that part. But I didn't get past that part because the gray because I know that the style of like the like background and shit is more grayscale in a lot of areas and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So with like
Yep.
the lighting and stuff, plus it's an MCU movie, so people are fucking shouting, raving, fucking yelling. There's a dude singing along with Deadpool, fucking. So I was like, I'm out. But speaking of spoilers, back in the day, when the second did you watch do you watch Star Wars? Have you watched any of the Star Wars?
Oh yeah, no, we love Star Wars around here. I got the whole arm. I got all kinds of stuff
Oh
behind
right, yeah,
me.
I forgot you told. Yeah, you showed me the Republic fucking symbol. But so when the what was it? The 8th movie came out. What was the name of that one? Not the Last Skywalker, but the Last Jedi, right?
That was the last one that came out.
Then what was the one before that one?
So you had the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker was the last one.
Yeah. So the Last Jedi was the first. Yeah. Okay. So that one. Before I went to go see that, I was super hyped about it. And I was playing PlayStation with some buddies. I randomly got a group mass message from a random person, and and because of the way that the PlayStation's notifications used to happen, they used to just pop up the message at the top. And so the message at the top read, it just had three sentences, three quick like 3-word sentences with the 3 biggest spoilers of that movie saying Snoke dies, Yoda's back, and then something else or whatever. And I remember seeing it, and I thought to myself, I said, what kind of sadistic motherfucker takes it out of their way to ruin a movie for this many people that you do not know? Also, I do reward you on it because it is kind of a good prank. But still, at the end of the day, I was pissed. But I was pissed about those movies in a whole bunch of different reasons.
You and me both.
But they have made up with it with the Mandalorian and everything, and the Book of Boba Fett. And I know
take on that, but
I know a lot of people hate on the newest the Acolyte or whatever.
the Acolyte. I teetered on it. Honestly, I liked it. I didn't. It got
better towards the end, right?
That's pretty much what I ended up. It had low points and some high points, but it definitely got better towards the end. That's kind of what I was experiencing while I was watching it. It was more so the couple of cameos towards the end, which I won't spoil that either. That's still relatively new. But
let me ask you this though. Do you? Well, without spoiling anything, I'll try and do this cryptic. Because after the whole thing of the end part where you see somebody in a cave, after that clicked of like who that was and like what time frame it was, I started thinking, was the dude that was like the main, one of the side main characters or whatever, who's on like the evil side or whatever, is he who I think he is from the movies?
You're talking about the yes.
and they just haven't said his actual name.
Right, but I think now,
Yo!
actually, if you go onto the Star Wars Databank website,
Right.
it actually, I believe they actually now have, like, if you're trying to know for sure, they have that listed, I think, in there now as his first canon appearance.
Now,
in a
if
film.
that's where they were going with this show, I'm all for it now because it makes a whole
Exactly.
lot more sense of like, because at first with the whole twins and shit, in which I thought they were going more towards of what's the group of witches from like the Fallen Order and shit.
Which is a Dathomir?
Yeah, I thought they were going more along the lines of that and shit like that. But then when and then everything started to click. Everything started to click once we gotta stop. No more spoilers. Anyway,
I got you.
we'll talk about this more after. But yeah, no, check out the Acolyte. It's pretty. It gets better. I mean, it's
Give it
a
a
lot
shot.
of shows nowadays are like that. I mean, a lot of
Worst
shows are
case,
slow.
you lose 20 minutes of your life before you decide you don't like it. It's worth it. Worth giving the later episodes a shot.
Right. Like well, actually, no. Let me ask you this: what's the worst superhero movie that you've ever watched?
Oh man, the worst superhero movie I've ever watched. This is gonna be a hot take. It's gonna stir up some controversy, but
Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
it's not exactly a single movie, but a series of movies. I do not like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies at all. I dislike them
That is a hot
greatly.
take.
I know.
Because
But, yeah.
I fucking love those movies. So you can okay. Corniness, I can understand if that's part of what you're saying, because there was a lot of corniness and stuff like that. But if the FX effects and the special effects that were in it, especially for the second one at the time, was in like an RPX theater. Forget about it. That shit was fucking mind blowing.
I would never take that away from the movies. My dislike towards it really comes from the fact of so I grew up, man. I had trouble sleeping when I was a kid, and every night what I would watch to kind of fall asleep to was the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. So I think that my brain just got so kind of nostalgic and familiar with those movies that when in the Andrew Garfield movies were so different that he was a completely different Peter Parker. He had a different personality, a different backstory, that it was almost like a shock to me that it just wasn't what I had remembered in my head.
And they had his dad alive. I guess I can understand that.
It changed so many things that it threw me off, and I think
also the Rhino at the end was just like, that's not Rhino.
I will say his return in the last Spider-Man movie, fantastic. I'm very glad to see him back. I think he has a place there. But his movie, like if I had a choice, if you said you have 3 choices of Spider-Man movies, the MCU ones, Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, I'm always gonna pick Tobey Maguire, simply out of nostalgia. I can't help that.
Yeah, I can always say that. Plus, I mean that J. Jonah Jameson, I mean, is legendary. I mean, you can't.
To the point where they moved him over into the new movies because nobody could play that character. It's like taking Hugh Jackman away from Wolverine. It may be good, but it's not going to be that same character that you recognize on screen.
Daniel Radcliffe better not be in this fucking Deadpool movie. I'm just telling you that right now as a variant. I better not see his fucking Harry Potter ass in there. Because a lot of people were raving online about him trying to be the new Wolverine. Like, if in an alternate universe,
say yes or no. I'm gonna keep you guessing. I will say though that you do see a couple, some variants of Wolverine and Deadpool, which is kind of cool. That doesn't really give much away, to be honest. It's all it's all out there, and that's all the basis of the movie. But you do see a lot of different versions of a lot of different characters, and that made me very happy.
And I'm sure that the soundtrack is banger.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you open up TikTok, scroll 3 videos. I promise you, within the first 2, you're going to run across a clip from the movie.
Well, I've already saw on PlayStation they have a playlist for Spotify, Deadpool soundtrack or whatever, and like I saw that NSYNC's Bye Bye or no Backstreet Boys Bye 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 is on there. So I know
Different
that's
boy
in there.
band.
Yep, different boy band, but
Switch them
same
up.
same gist.
Yeah.
And wait, Justin Timberlake was from NSYNC, right?
I'm not an ex. Don't ask me.
Okay.
Brother. I'm not an expert
think
on
so.
boy bands. So I don't know. I have
But
nothing against him, but I don't know.
but speaking on Spider-Man, the video games. Now, I will say this, by far the best video games were definitely Tobey Maguire's video games by far because
Dude, I specifically remember I would be in school and like they're trying to teach me basic math skills, and all I got in my mind is going home, booting up my PS2 so I could play the Spider-Man games. Like I learned nothing strictly because of that game, and I think I've spoken with a lawyer. I've made zero progress, but I think I may have a lawsuit.
for what?
Distraction to my education. I mean, it's a crime essentially.
yeah, fine.
Now I'm missing core math skills.
Well, so with the first Spider-Man game, was that the Tobey Maguire game that you played, or was the first Spider-Man game the PlayStation version, PlayStation 1 and or Nintendo 64 version of PlayStation or
So my first
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man game was actually it came out for the PS1. I specifically remember, and I literally can't remember the full time. I think it was literally just called Spider-Man.
And it had pretty much every single villain in it.
It had Venom in it. Like you swing around the city with him. You could get the spider armor suit if you picked up the right power up. It had some super funny.
Could you touch the
voice lines
ground?
that I remember. In some missions, yeah, for sure. It was
No, I meant like, was there a fog around the city to begin with the storyline?
I believe so. Yeah, like you could not fall down into the city. Like it was a set
That's what I thought.
stage that you were on. Yeah. Man, I could pull it up, but
Right. I mean, we'll do that later down the road. But yeah, so because that was the first game that I played, and I played that game so much to the point where I played it on like the hardest difficulty when I was younger. And I remember, especially when I got to like the Carnage level at the very end, that Carnage level was so
it is
sickening.
the same game then, because I remember that explicitly.
That's why I was so excited when they came out with Venom Carnage, but it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be honest.
So this goes back to watching Deadpool and Wolverine, but while I was in the theaters, they were playing an advertisement for the new Venom movie. And
wait, they have a thing. Oh wait, yeah, I already saw it. I forgot.
Not spoiling it. I mean, it's just like the teaser trailer.
Right.
But I'll be honest. Based on the teaser trailer, I was speculating that this was going to be like they were going to actually introduce Tom Holland in it. Because if you watch the end credit scenes of the other Venoms, it kind of implies that that's the way things are going. He sees him on TV. He's going to hunt him.
So I think it's gonna have to do with Secret Wars and stuff like that. I think the whole invasion's gonna lead into that too. I know Deadpool and Wolverine's supposed to lead into that as well, but plus I mean with Robert Downey Jr. now as fucking Dr. Doom.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. How do you feel about that? Because
so actually after reading a comic strip of so there is an issue of Iron Man where
he becomes Dr. Doom essentially.
Well, no. So what happens is that Dr. Doom tricks Tony into swapping bodies, and then he traps him in his body, and then he takes over his things or whatever and stuff like that. But then Tony secretly like ends up like coming back at him with his own suit and stuff like that, and his own powers. And then he ends up beating him, and he doesn't end up killing him. But in that one, he says, like, I'm going to be a better version of you. From now on, I am Dr. Von Doom or whatever. Because, like, he says, that I'll switch us back. Don't kill me. But he's like, nah, I'm not switching back. So I think it's going to be along the lines of that, but it's going to be a little teetered, like Victor killed Potts or something like that out of, like, defense or some shit. So then, like, he wouldn't want to switch back or something. And then, like, he wanted to... Because I know it's going to be around him trying to form his perfect world around whatever his goal is or whatever like that is. But I'm just glad to have Robert Downey Jr. back altogether because I knew
For
he
sure.
wasn't fucking done. I knew
No,
they were going to
no
bring
way.
him back at some point, if it was just like through the voice of his or not his daughter, but Ironheart's like fucking Calm or something like that. Then I'd be okay with that. But I just didn't want him to be officially gone. Same thing with Chris Evans. Which, spoiler, I did see like a small like 0.1 clip of him in there, so I know he's in that fucking movie too.
Oh, Deadpool! Yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing. I will say though, if you're a fan of that sort of deal, you'll be very happy with it. Literally interconnects everything. I will tell you that it interconnects everything. So.
Well, one of the major reasons why I love Deadpool is because it gives no fucks to continuity. It'll just bring in characters and not have to explain their fucking backgrounds. It'll just say, this is their power. This is what it is. Don't worry about the rest. Like that's and we're all okay with it. I don't know why the film industry for the longest time felt that we needed the backgrounds to understand these characters. It's like only the true comic book people are going to care about these movies as much as we do, and we're going to know the backgrounds previous to all this shit, so we don't need to see it on screen. Especially, that's one of the biggest reasons why they didn't do the whole biting with the spider for Spider-Man this time around. They were like, fuck it, we've done it twice now. We don't need to do it again.
Sure. I mean, I agree with that. I think to a degree, though, it has to be widely commercialized to draw in more than just comic book people for it to be a success. I also think it takes, to pull off what Deadpool does as a character, I think it takes a very special actor. I think it takes a very special talent to really do that tastefully.
He was born for that.
Absolutely. I will say the other thing is to, I lost my train of thought, but that's...
I saw that they've added Deadpool to like Universal Studios and like Disney and stuff like that. And whoever they got as like the actor is I mean, they do a fucking fantastic job at hiring whoever the fuck they hire to play these characters in these
they stay
parks.
there too. Like they get to they basically live in Disneyland.
I got a theory about that. They're all robots, okay? Because I've never met somebody who's worked there and been a character and then like talked about it afterwards. Have you seen an interview with anybody that's lived that life? I haven't. I don't think they're real. I think they're all fake.
It's actually, I have a different theory that it's actually just Joe Rogan in different suits, but that's besides the point.
I guess. But forget just because well, also, I mean, there's been plenty of weird things around Disney and the parks and stuff like that. I mean, I remember for the longest time people were saying like they have Walt Disney's head frozen under fucking Walt Disney or some bullshit like that.
I explicitly remember being told that as a kid, and I got into like, I'm pretty sure I got kicked out of school because of that, because I got into a whole ass altercation because I was like, nah, there's no way, and this kid was trying to convince me, and it just escalated. But
I'm thinking now. I
explicitly remember that.
I think The Simpsons is where I got that from. I think The Simpsons came out with an episode where that happened, and I remember seeing it on TV, and then I just clicked in my brain that was history, and that's what I'm learning, and that's what I'm going to take in.
Yes.
Which, sadly, I'm not going to lie, sadly, I've learned a lot of history through just watching shows and watching movies and stuff like that, rather than reading or doing anything like that, even though I don't believe that's one thing about history for me. I don't believe that most of the history that we're told is accurate at all by any means, because it's like trying to tell a story over and over again or playing telephone. Like, it's going to get messed up. Yes, they're going to get most of what the gist is, but there's going to be some shit that's not exactly accurate.
It depends on how you think about the government. It depends on how you think about how the media outlets work and how your country is actually run at a core level. So I tend to think that America's run very much like a business. They have to keep it profitable. They have to keep it booming. And with that, it's just like any big company. Like you have KFC with their 11 herbs and spices that nobody knows. That's not public to this day, and people, I'm sure they figured it out, but they've never actually come out and said it. There's reasons for that. It's a marketable thing. It keeps business going. It adds a layer of anonymity to it, because you can't. If you go to KFC, that's what you're going to get across the board. It doesn't matter if you go to a KFC here or Japan, like it's gonna be KFC chicken, and I think
That's not true. If you go to Japan, they always got better shit.
True.
Same thing with Korea,
Well,
not North Korea.
that goes
North
back
Korea
to
doesn't have good shit at all.
this all ties back in because of the FDA, dude. That everybody has different health, like countrywide, different health regulations.
Well, that
But
is
so
true. Because
the
like
more
with Red 40,
profitable- exactly, that's literally outlawed. Like
in most countries except for the
Yeah.
United States. I think they're like about to though. At least that's what I was hearing from like
They
other people
should.
and stuff. But speaking of like the people that like run the country and stuff like that, you know the Rothschilds, right?
well, yeah, Rothschilds, Rockefellers,
So
Buffett.
do you know like the whole like conspiracies around them and stuff like that?
I know a little bit of it. So I was watching that shit for a while, but then I realized that I indulge in far too many things to watch that stuff. It's like I was watching Ancient Aliens, dude. It starts to like become my whole personality, and then I'm like, I start questioning everything, dude. A
You start to
lady hands
mold
me
into
Yeah.
Joe Rogan. You're like, oh,
Literally.
aliens are real.
all of a sudden I'm screaming about the friggin' frogs and losing my mind, dude. Like
Right.
I'm not trying to go down that path. I had to pull myself out of that hole too many times already. It's not good for me. I know.
My wife watches this YouTube channel that I used to watch all the time that has a lot of that shit on there called Chills or something like that. But this dude talks like, let me see if I can do it. Talks like this, almost like if he was a Siri robot.
Wait, you're
like-
talking about Morgan Freeman?
No, I'm talking about this dude Chills. He has some kind of disorder where that's just how he talks. Like he's not doing it on purpose. It's not a gimmick. That's just how he talks. Because he came out with a song, a rap song, and he sounds exactly the same in that too. It's fucking weird. But his content is really good though, because he goes over a lot of like random shit and stuff like that. But yeah, that shit can become a huge rabbit hole when you go down that shit.
Literally, I had to pull myself out of it. I thought I was gonna have to seek professional help. Like I was questioning everything. A lady at McDonald's would hand me a Sprite, and I'm like double checking it, making sure. Like I don't believe anything at that point.
So, funny thing about not believing things, I don't trust the mailing system at all. I don't
They're
send
looking in your mail, dog.
No. I do so I have a hard time trusting somebody that could be just like me on the other end with a mailing thing and saying, "Oh, I can't find this place." Well, fuck it. I'll just put it here because that's what I'll do. Because that's what I would do. Because
True.
I don't trust that these millions of workers are all gonna do their job so accurately that I'm gonna get my package.
You figure out of 10 of them, probably only 3 give a fuck. Like the rest of them are just doing this to pass the time. Make a little money.
I've been inside those like Amazon like warehouses and stuff like that, or those whatever those big buildings, and
the Amazon beast.
I went for an interview which I ended up getting the job, but I didn't take it. The people inside there, I mean, you looked inside there. Well, one, they had
Did you check anyone's pulse?
I mean, they all seemed like they were dying inside, but like they had a shit ton of vending machines and shit like that. Like they looked like a Dollar Tree version of Google on the inside, but just with like vending machines and stuff.
When you work in a place like that, like I mean, I literally used to live 3 doors down from a giant Amazon sorting facility. Like I knew a ton of people that worked there. Not a single one of them could look me in the face and go, "Yeah, I love my job. It's really, really great." If they are, they're lying, because Jeff Bezos certainly will put a hit out on them if they say anything bad about Daddy Bezos. Like,
yeah,
they gotta have those vending machines to keep people from swinging from the rafters, dog. Like, that's
Jeff
tough.
Bezos, that's one person that like he used to be in the news like all the time, but like after he like kind of stepped away or whatever, yeah, like he's been kind of like off the radar and stuff like that. I know he's living his best life. I've seen pictures of him partying and stuff like that, so I know he's having fun out there. But yeah, he's for all intents and purposes, he's dropped off the face of the earth on the media and stuff like that, which is good for him.
I can't remember now if it's Elon or him that's technically the richest man in the world. But when you're either way, regardless, One of them's in first, one of them's in second. Either way, they have more money than I'll ever literally accumulate in probably 6 generations. But when you make that much money,
actually,
why do you need the attention? You could genuinely do whatever you want. For the rest of your life, dude, you can do whatever you want. Take as many trips, see as many things, buy as much stuff. Dude could buy a rocket ship.
So
and literally just leave. Gone.
You know how they've been like for the last like 7 years they've been making a bunch of biopics about not only like most recently they've been doing a lot of music people, but before that they were doing like tech people and like tech companies, like they did Uber and shit like that. And
yep.
They just came out with that BlackBerry movie a little while ago. Did you see that?
I did not. No, that's what I missed out on.
So, well, do you watch Always Sunny?
I actually, truth be told, I've never. This is wild. This is gonna be the headliner right there. 26-year-old dude, never seen Always Sunny. I've seen episodes here and there, but I've never actually sat down and watched the whole series.
So, I will tell you, just watch the Christmas episode. That's the episode that originally, back when I was way younger, got me into Always Sunny. Because it's longer than the normal episodes. It's like an extended episode. It's 45 minutes long, but bro, oh my fucking god, that will have you. If you don't cry in laughter, I will judge you. Like, it is so fucking funny. But anyway, the dude who plays Dennis in it, Glenn Howerton, he plays one of the main characters of in BlackBerry, or one of like the people that like found or had or helped found. Well, not really, because how BlackBerry was originally created was they were originally a tech company from Canada, like a software company for cybersecurity. Like, they sold routers and shit, and then they were getting fucked over by like the clients that they did have, because they weren't paying for like the betas or the demos that they like sent out or whatever. And so they were kind of like in the shithole or whatever, and then they went to go try and get money from like this VC fund, and this dude was working at the VC fund, and it just so happens that like right before that, like, he got fired, but he still took the meeting anyway. And so later on he like meets with them, and he's like, I want 51% of your company, and I will help you bring it into the stratosphere or whatever. And like, one of the main dudes who founded it, it's got to be this guy. Yes. So Douglas Freegan, his net worth, because he is one of the richest people on the planet. He's low key one of the richest people on the planet, because so when BlackBerry was about to tank and everything, and like not about to tank, but like they put in an order to basically try and beat the iPhone, and they fucked up big time. Because they tried to make like a.
Did you ever have a BlackBerry?
Yeah, I had like one of the original ones. But do you remember the like the BlackBerry Touch?
The one I had was the one with like the trackball in the middle. Like the light
so
trackball.
That's like the original one. So like right before they started to like pretty much deplete out of existence, they came out with this thing called the Touch, and it was the thing to compete with the new iPhone that had just came out from Apple, and was blowing everybody's fucking minds. And they made it really fast, and they made it cheap. They went to China and got it done there, which they originally had never done before, because one of the founders, like, his main pet peeve was that China makes cheap shit, and they cut corners and stuff like that on things. And so he didn't want his shit to get fucked up. But pretty much every single one of the phones that they got in the last order became defective, and they had like a huge lawsuit, and then that's when they ended. But this dude ended up cashing out prior to that, because the main dude was being a dick, and now he's one of the richest people. So I think that's okay, wait, hold up a fucking second. Tell me this dude does not look like fucking what's that dude's name? What's that dude's name? Brother.
Sketch?
Yes. Tell me this dude does not look like Sketch.
Calling me brother.
Look,
I didn't know you.
No, look at this guy. Is that not Sketch's father?
Oh no. There's definitely some heritage there.
Yo, like, that's insane. But
no.
I just started looking at his picture. I was like, no way. But yeah, so like speaking of richest people, I'm just surprised that he's one of the richest people, but he's low key that because he's a nerd. And I'm pretty sure he's also back then bought a shit ton of collectibles and kept them shits and then sold them too later down the road.
Oh, dude, I have collectibles that are worth money. I have some up,
Well,
but
I can see them right
like
now.
ultimately though, like the collectibles that are worth money, dude, it's like stuff that belongs in a museum half the time. Like the stuff I have, sure, it's rare. Like I think the rarest thing I probably have, truthfully, is the Halo Reach statue that came with the Legendary Edition for 360. I think that's
Back
one
in
of
the day.
Yeah, that's what that guy is there.
Wow.
Missed the complete. Yeah, I still have the original box and everything. Like that's the only thing I probably have that's actually worth any money collectible wise.
See, I recently was looking at like for some reason I don't know how I got onto this on my phone, but I started looking at old like McDonald's, Burger King, and like Happy Meal toys that like are
Dude.
worth money now. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, bro, I remember all these fucking things and I had these and I did not keep them. I was like, what? If I knew back then that they were gonna be worth money, I would have kept them.
What's surprising is you would never think, but like when you're a kid, dude, I feel the same way about hockey pucks. So I used to have like a ton of signed hockey pucks, dude. I got one up there. When I was a kid, dude, my family had season tickets to the Crunch games around here, and so we would go constantly. And I caught a ton of pucks when I was a kid. They caught a ton of pucks, and these guys.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stop you right here because your first issue was that you were saving pucks from a Crunch game, and you thought that.
Dog, I know, but like sentimental. Hey, listen.
It depends
though, because if those players actually get bumped up to the Lightning, which is their affiliate team, then it's actually worth quite a money. So you might think it's funny at first, but
that's true. I mean, I don't know too much about hockey. I don't know how often they get pulled up and pulled down,
often.
Because I know for baseball it's not often.
No, it works similar, but it's a little bit different. So, like, typically your farm team. So, Syracuse Crunch is an affiliate team for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right.
Basically, what happens is one of their top players gets hurt. Okay, they'll pull a top player from the Crunch and they'll bump them up to play. And then if they do really well, a lot of times, like Alex Barré-Boulet, I got his signature on my jersey I wear to the games. He's played on the Lightning for most of this past season, and he didn't come back till just about either slightly before the playoffs or like as they start to the Crunch.
So do you watch basketball at all?
I don't watch basketball. So me primarily, I watch hockey, baseball, football. Big old Bills fan for sure.
Okay. Because I was gonna see if you went to back when they brought the Nuggets and the Suns to the Carrier Dome back in the day. If you went to that exhibition game,
I did not.
That was the only game where I wish I had gotten one of their autographs, because then that shit would have been worth money. Because Shaq was there, Carmelo Anthony was there, that shit would have been worth gold. But I ended up getting I think the autographs I got were, I did get Wesley Johnson, who played in the NBA for a little bit. Scoop Jardine, what's his name? Oh God, he was on the team with Johnny Flynn. Well, I got Johnny Flynn's autograph too, but who is also in the NBA for a limited time. Yeah, that's the sad thing about Syracuse basketball. We've only had truly like a couple of people that have like survived in the NBA for a long time. And
same thing with the football, like.
Well, football, we do have some really, really prime candidates from Syracuse. I mean, we had Ernie Davis, we had John Brown, we also had the linebacker for the Colts. He'd retired a little while ago. Dwight Freeney, who was a legend, and I'm pretty sure in the Hall of Fame now, was a Syracuse Orangeman, and back when they were called the Orangemen. I remember you remember when they got the rebrand and then they were the Orange?
I don't. I missed that. But
oh yeah, I am a little. Well, I'm not that much older than you, so
true.
Well, I guess I was probably at the age where I could just remember it. But yeah,
I didn't start getting into sports until I was probably 10 or 11. So
okay.
I probably missed the window on a lot of, you know what I mean? I used to work on Marshall Street out in Syracuse. At a little repair shop. It's right by the college.
There's
right
a repair shop on Marshall Street?
There
I thought there was just okay. I was gonna say I thought there was just food and then the weed
man,
shop.
There was all that too, but there was also a little repair shop fixing phones, drones, you name it. I used to work there. I worked there for like 2 years. I used to get a lot of the SU football players coming in with broken phones and everything. I remember one time specifically, I had an SU football player, and it was insane because he called and he said that he had no money, and he was waiting on a call to hear about a draft for, I think, like the XFL or the NFL, one of the two. His name is Abdul Adams. He ended up playing for the Battlehawks in the XFL for a while, but he went and visited the Bills. Like, he was a prospect for them at one point. Like, I was insane. This dude came in, and like, I've had extensive conversations with people like that, and it's insane. He took me to their workout facility.
So let me ask you this: who's the most famous person you've met? Like
Theo Von.
You met Theo Von? What, like at one of his shows?
Yep. After he went to the On Center recently. There's actually, if you go on his TikTok, he comes out in a Crunch jersey and everything.
Of course he does.
Nuts. Yeah.
Even though he knows nothing about fucking hockey.
Yeah, dude. And I actually met him there, and it was
how was the interaction with him?
Brief, but it was, you could tell that he's very much himself on his podcast. Like, that's who he actually,
I had a feeling that
to a degree. I mean, everybody's a little bit different, but like,
there's a few people though, like out in the podcast world, that like they are who they are, no matter what they
right. Like,
what's
you take
in front
Joey
of them.
Diaz. That man, I guarantee, is pretty similar outside of it. Like, just off the rails, crazy. Do you follow his Instagram?
No, I don't. I'm not on Instagram that much, to be honest, though. So I see a lot of his TikToks, but other than that,
he goes live, and sometimes it's some of the most wildest stuff. You'd never expect it. I love it when it pops up on there.
Well, first of all, I'm surprised that he knows how to go live, and second, I mean, I can only imagine what the fuck he would get into. Because did you end up listening to the episode with Dante and hearing it? Okay,
did. Wait, you're talking? Yes, and he was talking about Bobby Lee.
Did you hear the part where he talked about Joey Diaz?
I missed that part.
Okay, so I asked him specifically for you. So I asked him, I was like, so like for like other people and stuff like that, like have you like met Joey Diaz or crossed paths with Joey Diaz? And he was like, yeah. So him and Joey Diaz worked on The Longest Yard together. So what Dante did was so during that movie, when they had all the people in the stadium, they had to fill it with like a bunch of extras and shit like that. They had to have some kind of like entertainment for them while they like sat around in between like shit and stuff like that, because they weren't like filming continuously. And so they had Dante there basically like going up and down aisles, like telling tricks, emceeing, like giving out prizes and doing a bunch of shit like that. And he knew Joey Diaz, and he was talking to him on like the last day of shooting or whatever, and because they were filming that big scene at the end, and Joey Diaz goes, meet me at my trailer after the shoot. And so he meets him or he goes to try to find Joey Diaz's trailer, and he asks around. He's like, "Where's Joey Diaz's trailer?" And then just point out into the distance, and you see a fucking a trailer. And he said, "I shit you not." He said it looked like the kitchen was on fucking fire. He said there was smoke coming out of the windows. And this is back in the day when weed was highly illegal, and Joey gave no fucks. He just opened the door, and he's like, "Come on in, let's smoke."
I'm sure there was a come in here, cocksucker.
Yeah, like something along the lines of that. But yeah, so I thought that was an interesting story. But yeah, well, speaking on the Bobby Lee thing, I was listening to his podcast today, trying to see if maybe he had heard or seen or anything. But that one was from before that came out, so we'll see on the next one, because I did tag that podcast in a bunch of things. And
Bad Friends or Tiger Belly?
Yeah, dude, my dream is to one day wake up and in our email box is just a thing from bad friends inviting us on the show, because that would just be my dream.
Me, you, Andrew Santino, and Bobby Lee. That'd be. I feel like that'd be a pretty good. That'd be a
You
pretty good.
have one Asian, and then you have another dude who was made fun of looking Asian but was never actually Asian. This guy. Dude, growing up, you have no idea the amount of dog eating jokes and like small eyes thing and stuff like that.
Kids are brutal.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they got creative along the way too. I mean, because after one person noticed it, everyone noticed that my eyes were small and stuff like that. And in comparison to my parents, my eyes they don't compare to my parents' eyes. It is kind of weird. And it didn't help that I had a cousin that is actually Chinese. So, but she's adopted. So we're not blood related. I recently reached back out to her because I hadn't spoken to her in like 20 years or something like that. The last time I saw her, I was like a little child, and she was getting married and shit like that. And now she, I think, just had a kid or something like that. So, if you're watching, I'll remind you to watch this. So if you're watching this, hello Jessica, hi. Oh, and it didn't help too that her name was Jessica too, and then mine was Jesse. A lot of things didn't help.
True. I see how that could be a. See how that could be a thing.
And also, and my wife will agree on this because I showed her it. My eyes look like my uncle's eyes. I look more like my uncle.
I don't know. All I'm saying.
I don't know why that is. Nothing nefarious. Nothing nefarious. But like for some reason, my eyes, like if you look at my uncle, he has the same type of Asian looking small eyes that I do. Not that there's anything wrong with Asian small eyes. Okay, I'm all for equality and
dog
small, yellow, black, white.
I feel you
rainbow.
on that degree, but on a different level. So literally, I got 6 siblings, right? They're all younger than me. I'm the oldest, but we all look like carbon copies of my dad, who's a carbon copy of his dad. I mean, we all look pretty similar, and we got German and Polish in us. So
is it all brothers or?
I got one half sister, but she's not on my dad's side. But the rest of them, yes.
Okay.
They're all on my dad's side. Some step,
so who's
some
the closest to you then?
It would be my brother Mike for sure. We're the closest. He's technically the second closest in age to me. He just turned 18.
Okay.
He's a young buck out in the wild.
Did he just graduate high school?
He did, yeah.
Did he from where?
C Square.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me wait. You guys lived over near Central Square? I don't know my geography.
I did not know.
Okay, because I was gonna say I didn't think that was over.
I went to a little town called Phoenix, dude, right outside of Beaver.
Oh, I know Phoenix. I went to basketball camp with 2 kids that were from Phoenix. And when they said Phoenix at first, I thought for sure. For the first couple days, I for sure thought it was Arizona, and I was like, "You guys came all the way fucking here for this Lemoyne basketball camp? What the fuck?"
Dude, about halfway through high school, I moved to a city called Oneida, and people used to ask me all the time, "Where are you from? Where are you from?" And I used to literally say Phoenix, and out of their mouth, every single one of them, you could guarantee it, dude. If I had $20, I'd have probably $100. But every single person that asked me, "Where are you from?" and I said Phoenix, they all said Arizona with that same expression too. You came all this way? No.
Well, it's the same thing with like how when you say you're from New York, people automatically think that you're from New York City.
Yep. No. Yep. You can get that's the crazy thing about the geography of New York that you don't actually think about is that literally you can get to Canada, you can get to a whole nother country, you can get to Pennsylvania. You can get to all these places faster than we can get to New York City, which is technically in the same state. You can be in a whole other country. From where I am, probably an hour and a half. That's probably
Elon Musk, why the fuck haven't you figured out a bullet train from here to New York City yet, motherfucker?
Hover cars, dude. When I was a kid, now
they technically do have that. I mean, they're not hover cars, but do you know?
In my driveway.
Do you know the paramotors? What those are?
No. The closest thing that I knew of was like the maglev trains and like fucking
So paramotors,
China.
I knew about like back when I think I was a freshman or whatever. I found like YouTube videos of it, but there are these basically it looks like like those swamp vehicles with like the big fans on the back.
Yeah, dude, hover boats.
Yeah, so it has a big fan on like this backpack type thing that you put on your back, and then it has a parachute, and then you get a running start, and you set up the motor, and then you end up flying with it or whatever, and you can control it and stuff like that. And there's like a bunch of YouTubers that were like posting mad viral videos of them like flying. Like one dude flew from his house to McDonald's with it and stuff like that. And
How
but
do you
like
fit through the drive?
that's the closest thing to like a hovercraft or whatever right now. But those and they're not even that expensive. I think they're only like $4 or $5 to be honest for what they're used for and stuff like that. I granted I don't think you can go like that far of distance. I think like
Oh,
the
yeah,
max
I'm
distance
sure.
is like probably 10 miles, but
Like trying to go on a cross country road trip and
I mean imagine if you were able to maneuver that shit very well. Imagine doing that through New York City.
Sure, dude. Honestly, it needs it. Like I've never been. Literally, I've never been to New York City ever in my life. But I've always wanted to go. But the thing that stops me every time is the thought about how am I going to get around over there. Like
It's walking. I'll tell you that it's walking. Just like how in Boston, you only take if you stay in Boston, you don't have a problem. But most of the time, people stay out like right outside of Boston and then go into Boston, which is
they
like
gotta,
what I
yeah.
did. And when you go into Boston, then you just walk all the way around. Like I checked my steps after the bachelor trip when I went to Boston, and
You were
dude,
telling me about that.
I had over like 70 or 80,000 steps or some shit. It was fucking ridiculous the amount of stepping that we did. But same thing with New York City. Usually you park it in New Jersey, and somewhere safe, and then you go across, or you take the subway or whatever the fuck it is to there, and then you walk all the way around. But New York City is so big and shit like that usually you have to.
Well, it's like subways and shit is what you got
Well,
to take
that
to
and
like
like
the different
you're only
boroughs.
usually sticking around one certain borough. Like you're not traveling from borough to borough and shit like
Right, like
that.
you're
You're
in
usually in
Queens or you're
Manhattan.
in Brooklyn, etc.
Right. And most of the tourists go to Manhattan and such and shit like that. Some Brooklyn and shit like that for like basketball and stuff because I know street basketball down there is legendary and shit like that. So a lot of people go down there for that.
It's a
Um,
weird thing to think about too, though. Like it's kind of like you don't think about it, but like me thinking about going, like I think about it. That's kind of like intimidating. So like I've been around here, like I haven't traveled a whole lot. The only other place I've really been is Pittsburgh. But that's similar to up here. It's really not much different.
I was
But
gonna
like
say yeah.
the thought
It's
of being in a city like New York City, like it actually is intimidating for someone that's not used to that kind of climate. And I think that's got to be such a culture shock too, especially if you're like trying to make a name for yourself and you're up and coming talent and you're going to these unfamiliar places. That's got to be
speaking of
such a culture shock.
Speaking of like uncomfortableness of being like in New York City, okay, get this, all right. So my wife has this friend that she calls Uncle Fritz. Like she's known him for like all her life or whatever, and like she's been like an uncle to him. But he is helping his brother who's handicapped. He's got cerebral palsy, and he used to be a professor at Syracuse, but so crazy story. I'm gonna tell you how he actually became like fully in a wheelchair and like not able to move as much anymore. So originally he was pretty good and stuff like that. Like he was having trouble like here and there, but he wasn't having like that many issues. But there was a janitor that was in his building that wasn't doing a good job. And so it was his job in the building to fire the guy. And so when he went to fire him, the dude pushed him down the stairs, 2 flights of stairs. And so there's a huge lawsuit and all that shit, and like Syracuse is basically paying for all of his medical bills and all of the shit and stuff like that. And he's got like his what do you call it? His retirement funds and everything like that. But now he's like fully in a wheelchair. He can like barely move. So anyway, their mother died, and him and his brother are helping like clean this house and get and sell it and shit like that. And then they're gonna split the money and then part ways. Fritz is going to Alaska, lucky son of a bitch. And then his brother, who is a paraplegic in a chair, is going down to New York City. Okay, he's going down to New York City. Okay. So you're going down to New York City, and he's on the 4th floor.
Bro.
I said to my wife, I go, is this man? I know he's a professor, but is this man brain damaged because like down that flight of stairs? Because that makes I know if I'm sorry, but like that makes no sense. Like, why would you go to somewhere that is not zero handicap applicable or accessible?
I think every place should be handicapable, accessible. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, but New York City is so narrow cornered and shit like that, and everything's so uneven with the streets. I mean,
Getting
we live
around
in New
to
York.
begin with is going to be tough. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like subways, like all
that.
that. Like, and then he has a wife or whatever, and she's going down with him and living with him. But like, it's like
that makes it a little bit better, I guess. But even still.
But on the other hand, like down the road, I feel like she's gonna end up resenting that shit because she's gonna have to deal with so much more than she had to deal with here.
Job. That's like a full-time job.
Plus, I mean, New York City is obviously not like crazy dangerous, but it can be, and so
I feel like
you know,
it is, though. That's the thing. Like someone that's never been there, that's the first thing in my mind.
I can tell you firsthand, it's not.
Yeah, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it's not that bad. When I went to New York City a while ago for a Mets game, and it was when the Mets stadium had just gotten rebuilt. They did the remodel, and I remember it was the first time that I went to New York City, and I was actually surprised at like how like honestly normal it was. It was just crowded. That was the real thing. Like that was the only thing, and what really sucked is that I wasn't able to experience a lot of New York City because so I was originally invited by my friend Devin and his mom, and so my mom and me agreed, and we were like, okay, yeah, we'll drive. And so we went in our car, but then like last minute she invited her friend fucking I forgot what the hell her goddamn name is, but whatever. We're gonna call her Shitface. So Shitface came with us or whatever, and she ruined the whole trip. One, she made it so then there was zero room in the fucking car because back then, granted now, Devin's mom has changed her lifestyle of how she like does things and stuff like that, so she's living a better healthy life. But back then it was a very very tight squeeze, and we had a Hyundai whatever. It was one of those small fucking like plastic fucking silver cars, and we fit 5 people in there, and we went down to New York City, and she complained all the time. The morning before the game, because we were supposed to wake up and go like sightseeing, like how normal people would do in New York City. Why would you go to New York City and not sightsee? And this bitch is still in bed like at like 12, and she's like, oh, I didn't know we were sightseeing. I thought we were just going to the game.
Dude, similar to that story, I feel you 100%. Like that ruins the trip. But so last summer, I went to Pittsburgh for my birthday. Me and all my friends were big Mac Miller fans. We wanted to go down there, see a bunch of Mac stuff. We wanted to go to Frick Park Market. We wanted to go to Blue Slide Park. Like we wanted to do all these things. So me and like 5 of my best friends, we rented this bougie Airbnb. By the way, I just stabbed myself. We rented this bougie Airbnb. It was great, dude. It had giant glass windows that overlooked the city. Like it was really nice, and it was expensive too. But we split it all between us. It was super dope. But besides that, it was my birthday, so we went there for one reason. Well, 2 reasons: to see Max stuff, and the other reason was to party. Like it was my birthday, we were gonna have fun. Dude, so we are throwing an absolute rager in this Airbnb, and I'm talking bottles of liquor straight, like going absolutely buck wild, blasting Max songs till like 3 a.m. And so we all end up crashing out. Me and my buddy Ehoff, I'm hoping to actually get him on this podcast at some point. Ehoff, me and him, dude, we go traversing. We don't know where we are. We don't know anything about this place, but we wake up from our from like a drunken slumber, and it's mad late. The only thing open is gas stations, and so we wake up from this slumber, and we're like, yo, we need some food bad. We packed nothing. We're like, we need something to snack on. So we gear up and we take off into the city of Pittsburgh, not knowing where we're going, and we find this sketchy gas station, dude. Like half the lights were broken, everything. The wildest part is, you know what we got for food? we ended up buying like the cans of Dinty Moore soup and just bringing that back to the Airbnb and cooking it up, dude. The next morning,
I was gonna ask, did you guys even end up eating it? Or
Yeah,
did you guys?
dude.
Okay, I was gonna say, did you guys just cook it and then not eat it? Because that's something I
No.
would have done.
No, we cooked it and we ate it. And the next morning, we were like, okay, we were only there for 3 nights. So, like, night 1, we get settled in and we go find a bougie place to get dinner. Night 2, we party and drink and have fun. So, day 3, the day we were leaving, we were going to go to all the different Mac landmarks and go exploring the city, like, as far as, like, things to do. We found, like, a science museum. We went to the Steelers, it used to be, like, Heinz Stadium. Like, we did all this stuff. Eric Ehoff, he never, ever, ever got out of bed, dude. We had to drag that man out to go anywhere with us because he was in such rough shape the next morning. So your point on ruining the whole trip, I feel he did not ruin the whole trip, though. I do want to make that clear. But, like, I'm sure he would have loved to, like, be able to go on some of this, like, do some of the same stuff we were doing, and I feel bad. So we're gonna have to make a second trip, make up for that. But I feel it.
After that trip with Devin, I was a little like iffy with going on trips with Devin, and then he invited me on the bachelor trip, and then I was like, all right, it's gonna be the boys, it's gonna be fun and stuff like that. And then there was just drama on drama, and then there was a fifth wheel that was very annoying. He will remain nameless, but that man was super fucking annoying. And definitely only was interested in just, I don't know, being the leader of us. I don't really understand. It was very weird. I've been around people that are older that do that shit, and it's weird because they try and, like, they'll see like a band of like lower age kids, and they'll be like, I can rustle them up and make them my minions. And that's what he was trying to do, and it was just super annoying. And I didn't speak to him at all at the wedding. I completely shunned him. And I was surprised he was even invited to the wedding. He was almost not invited to the wedding because after what happened at the bachelor party. But
thankfully, I've never had a bad trip like that.
So yeah, other than the bachelor trip at the end of the day was still good. Because like I hadn't seen my friends in a while, and plus when you're always with, like, your childhood friends and stuff like that, you always have those laughs where, like, you don't have laughs like that with anybody else but them, to the point where, like, you're dying.
I know it.
I
understand that completely, man. I moved an hour away from everybody I knew, which isn't a long time, but when you're living a busy life, man, it's hard. But the producer that we were talking about,
yeah,
that's him, man. We're lifelong. We've known each other literally.
What's his name again?
Before we were even born. It's Devin. So
Devin?
literally, I have a good friend named Devin.
You got a
too.
Devin.
I feel like it's a case of the multiverse where everybody's got, like, Deadpool has a Peter in every universe. We have it, like, everybody has a Devin.
I mean, I can see. Well, either that or they have somebody that's like a Devin.
Yeah,
I feel like Devin is more of a verb nowadays. Same thing with my friend Wassel, because his last name's Wassel, and we just call him Wassel because
I got a friend like that too. It's wild, man. It's crazy how some people, like, that's genuinely how they're known. Like, no first name, man. It's just a last name.
Yeah, I mean, even now, because calling him Alex instead of just Wassel, it seems weird. It seems like you did something wrong, and I'm talking to you about it, and I'm just not about that. But yeah, I need to talk to this Devin dude and see about if he wants to just hop on next pod. I mean, that would be helpful. I mean, if he wants to take a little bit and, like, watch the episodes and get a feel for, like, how we do things, he can do that too. But yeah, eventually people, we're gonna have this shit figured out. Okay, we're gonna have this shit down to a science. We're gonna have merch and shit. Also, speaking of that, I do have a person in mind for merch. people. So eventually that will be coming down the road. It's a person that's local that's trying to start their own clothing line. So I thought maybe I could work out something with him. But anyway, on to other news. With the all of the accusations with like Diddy and stuff like that.
Oh.
I know they've slowed down and shit like that. But I mean, right after that there was the whole thing. Well, right after the whole yeah, not like us came out after the whole Diddy thing came out, right? With Kendrick. Kendrick came out with that song after that, right?
To be honest, I lost the timeline of events, dude.
Let me see.
I was following it, and then I lost it with everything else that's going on. Dude,
When did this release? Because it's just gonna tell me 2024. Fuck you. Okay, that doesn't help. Well, anyway, I think that came out after it, but anyway, it's funny how that happened, and then the whole thing with well, I mean, I always called Drake a creep, and I stopped listening to his music pretty much like 5-6 years ago after it started to just be fruity bullshit and stuff like that. After Hotline Bling was like the final straw. Is like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's no longer the Drake that everybody liked and stuff like that. Like,
well, I think Kendrick was very accurate in some of the stuff he was saying, and not like
Kendrick
us,
fucking murdered him, and the fact that
absolutely destroyed him, dude. Go again. This goes back to TikTok. Go 3 videos on your feed. Find me one that doesn't have "Not Like Us" in the background.
That, I mean, my favorite one that I've been seeing is there's this dude I've been seeing on YouTube Shorts, but it's this dude who's listening to it on his headphones in like Toronto or in the city or something like that, and he's singing it to himself or whatever, and like near people and shit, and then like some people are into it.
About. I've seen it.
Yeah, and then some people are looking at him like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" And at the end, he just slams his thing and starts singing it out loud. And
yeah,
bro,
I know exactly who you're talking about. He has dreads, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That dude's legendary. Fucking, especially doing it in his city. And Drake, you know, a lot of that's one thing. That I was kind of surprised when Dante said, because Dante referenced that Hollywood. There's a lot of like conspiracies about like Hollywood, like people eat babies and like drink blood and lots of shit and stuff like that. And he's like none of that shit's true. He's like, I haven't seen anything like that. Granted,
I mean, because he didn't though.
There was one thing I didn't bring up to him, and I'm gonna see if he wants to come on the podcast eventually again, because there's something I did want to ask him. But there's a story about, you probably have heard it, the whole thing with them doing that whole like ritual thing at the top of the Comedy Store in the robes.
No, I haven't heard that. You're just putting me onto something right now.
So I think it was Bobby Lee who said this. I could be wrong, people, so don't hate me. But
was it,
I believe,
Bobby Lee, or
yes, it was clean Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee was talking about, so he was talking on, I think it was on Bad Friends, or it might have, no, I think it was on a different podcast. But he was talking about how one time he went, he was at the comedy club, and there was like everybody was pretty much gone and stuff like that, but there was still like the main like top people there and stuff like that. And he noticed like they went up to like a room or whatever, or like up these stairs at the second floor of the comedy club or the comedy store. And he said he went up there and he peeked, and he said what he saw is people in purple robes, surrounded in a circle, holding hands, trying to conjure the ghost of Andy, the dude that Jim Carrey was playing in that biopic where he lost his fucking mind.
I know what you're talking. I can't remember his name either, but I know.
But they're trying to conjure some legendary comedy god's ghost or whatever, and he said that was the weirdest thing that he ever saw, like in Hollywood by far.
That was some Joe Rogan
and
shit for sure.
That's why I would love to ask him, because he worked at the Comedy Store for a long time and was around Missy a long time, and so I'd like to know like what, if he had seen anything weird like that and shit like that, because that was interesting to me, because That's something that I would have always thought that would have been a comedy thing where they do some weird shit like that, like how some people like I feel like after Elon Musk dies, will worship him as some kind of like idol or like messiah or some shit like that.
Oh,
Because
dude, Elon Musk, the Messiah. That's the headline for the video.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, have you seen that? There was like the whole thing with like this girl that was claiming to be his babysitter, like saying all this shit
Oh,
about
yeah.
him.
Dude, listen. If Elon Musk doesn't sacrifice babies to the volcano to ensure his success, dude,
I think everybody's
he's got to
got.
be doing something.
I feel like everybody's got it wrong about Elon Musk. I feel like Elon is just everybody who has a sensible mind. If they had the money and the resources, what they would actually do with it, and they would do things like
that's
not
a
give
really
a fuck what everybody
interesting-
else thought.
That's
And
a really
just do
interesting
what
take.
needs to be done. Like that's what I would do. I would
Well,
just
Twitter-
say fuck everybody.
Yeah.
I know we need to leave this planet. Nobody's listening. Fuck that. I'm gonna create something to make sure that
I'm
happens.
just gonna do it. I'm not gonna fucking wait on you. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna do what needs to be done.
And then I'm gonna be the first one to fuck an alien. That's what he said.
I mean, that's an absolute G statement though. Like he woke up one day and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck an alien. That's what I'm gonna do. And the crazy thing is, like, he has the money to where that's not like for you and me to say we're gonna go fuck an alien is wild. Like that is a wild statement. For him, that's a plausible statement.
Unless you believe all these lizard people conspiracies of these famous people where
I met one of them.
Who?
The lizard folk.
Shut the fuck up.
My boy
They don't
Dylan,
exist.
Dude. I'm telling you. If you met this kid, you'd go, they exist.
What does he have? Like odd augmentations in his head and shit like that,
Dude,
like horns.
You know Toad from X-Men.
Yeah, yes.
He's basically Toad. He is Toad if he was real. To be honest, he's even had mutations, dog. Like, I'm telling you, this kid's the real deal. Call Professor X. Get him on the phone.
Forget the people that do those mutations. Like there was like that dude that was called like the Lizard King or whatever that had like the fucking I'm gonna actually look him up right now. Fucking Lizard King. This dude did so much shit.
Wait, are you talking about the dude in London that's like part of like the Alien Project where he like cut off his own fingers and shit?
Okay.
This is
no, I'm not talking about the Lizard King dude with augmentations. I guess I have to write this all out. What the fuck?
No, that's it. I know.
No, it's looking up Jim Morrison fucking soundtracks. I'm not looking up Jim Morrison. Lizard looking dude. I know what.
Dude, I feel like we're talking about the same person. And I'm about to pull up a picture. Yeah.
This dude. This fucking dude. That dude.
No, that's not who I'm talking. Why do I feel like, and I don't know who that is, but why do I feel like I've seen him in a book of like Ripley's?
I think he was in Ripley, but yeah, this like fucking this beads in his fucking eyes or his fucking eyebrows and shit, like augmentations there. He's got his fucking teeth sharpened. Fucking, he's got his tongue split. He's got the tattoos. He's got the gauges. I mean, he already stopped me with gauges. Fucking, I hate gauges. Those are one thing that I fucking cannot stand.
For sure, dude. This is what I was talking about.
Itty bitty ones aren't that bad, but yeah.
Yeah, like this is the dude I was talking about.
Okay, well,
that guy right
there. That is something else.
That dude. Yes.
That was him trying to be Michael Jackson on top of being a lizard man because he took away his nose.
So his actual story is, dude, he actually has had, like, optionally, there was nothing wrong with it. Like, he's had fingers cut off. And it's all part of something. You could Google it. If you type in London Alien Project, dude, I'm pretty sure that'll pull the damn thing up. But you could literally read about this guy. I mean, it's absolutely insane. He's, I mean, good for him, man. Do what you want, but That's wild to me, man. You have perfectly good fingers. There are kids across the globe that would kill for perfectly working fingers.
There's plenty of paraplegics that want to masturbate that could use those fingers.
That's what I'm saying. That's a wild take.
That's all I think about is about the handicapped people and what they suffer. You know.
That's all you. So that's like all you think about, like 24/7 in every occasion, because there's
just
some
around,
ways.
Just around Christmas.
Oh, okay. That seems reasonable. I guess if it's one time a year.
I'm not seeing it. Oh wait, I see the wall lizard project, but I don't see anything about.
This guy's all over TikTok. It's like the alien project. Dude mutilates himself. I don't know. That's what I would put.
Yeah, I'm
Dude,
just finding stuff about rare species.
If you type in London man or like man cut off fingers to become alien, I guarantee you this cat will pop up, dude. This guy is. I've been reading about him because he popped up in my TikTok feed, and I was absolutely enamored with the amount of body modification that he's gone through. He's gotten metal implants to make his skin look different, dude.
I mean, that actually reminds me of that lady. You know the lady that had her skin turn was it either blue or silver or whatever, or green, because she was drinking fuck. Let me pull it up. Woman.
We'll get somebody for this.
Yes, we will. We will, man. Turns. No.
Why are you looking at? Have you ever had any of these, dude? The Happy Dads?
No. What is it?
Dude, it's so you know the Nelk Boys, right?
Yeah.
Steve will do it. All of them. They made a seltzer called Happy Dad.
Of course he did.
It's 5%. Yeah, it's good though. It's 5% alcohol that comes in like a multitude of flavors, like watermelon, black cherry. It's gluten free, and on top of that, dude, it's got electrolytes in it, so like you're not getting dehydrated like you would if you were drinking, say, like a Jack and Coke. So like, you don't feel like absolute garbage in the morning, dude. I've killed about 2 of them. I wish I had a third. That's the next thing we need to get some assistance with them just to help out.
Very true.
But yeah,
skin.
they're insane. If you're into seltzers, I don't know if you are, but they're pretty good. And we're not even sponsored by them, so
okay. So
straight from the heart.
So this girl, I don't know if you've heard of the what was it called, the cult of Mother God or whatever. It's a
no. I've actually heard of like a cult of Mother Goose.
So
like,
basically,
that's a weird deal.
So basically, so the leader of the cult was a McDonald's manager with 3 younger children, right? And he believed that she had believed that she had birthed the entire human race and was being reincarnated as Jesus, Joan of the Arc, and Marilyn Monroe, and is spiritually connected to the late actor Robin Williams. So this was like a HBO docu series or whatever. But basically, she ended up dying due to colloidal silver poisoning, because she was drinking this shit that she said was like the elixir of life, but it just had what the fuck was it? This like silver shit in it or whatever, and she drank so much of it that like it ended up turning her fucking skin completely silver.
That's insane, dude. She literally turned into Silver Surge. Bro,
dude,
if we combine my boy Dylan with this girl, we almost got an X-Men movie right there.
I mean, that, or you got Watchmen, the more realistic version of it, which is also a very good superhero movie, people. If you haven't watched Watchmen, you guys definitely should watch that. Zack Snyder. It's from Zack Snyder, isn't it, originally?
I've never seen it myself. Dude, I'm so miscultured.
Oh, it is.
No, you have no idea. I am so miscultured with movies. Like, I know nothing.
Well, you're better than my wife. My wife, especially when like referencing like famous people, I have to say like 60 movies before she understands what I'm talking about.
I'm better with actors than I am actual movies.
So like what so then for movies this year, or not this year. Well, yeah, I'll say this year because this year's about to be ending weirdly. Um what is the best movie you thought that came out this year, and what was the worst movie?
Best movie, honestly, right now, and I'm not just saying it because that's where the hype is, but genuinely, Deadpool Wolverine. It's the Deadpool franchise is one of my favorite comic books, one of my favorite shows. So that movie naturally is on the top of my list. Worst movie? Oh, man, I don't know because Deadpool and Wolverine's also. I don't even know if this movie came out this year, but Ricky Stenicki was a really good movie, so they're kind of tied.
That was a very good movie, and the fact that
was
I would love to get John Cena on this bitch because I would love to ask him how many fucking tries it took him to get through those singing lines.
So many takes.
Those singing lines, every single fucking song that they created was fucking gold, and the fact that he said them with such prowess and such like sincerity in what he was singing, dude.
Well, I think Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee actually had him on their podcast, Bad Friends.
Yep.
And he was talking about it, man, and he actually seems like such a genuinely hardworking actor. Like he really absorbs himself into the role he's playing.
Well, he fucking knows Mandarin or whatever, right? Like,
yeah, he's a strict professional when it comes to acting, and like you wouldn't think that, but when you actually think about it, though, the WWE is literally it's an acting job, dude. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, it's all in act and stuff like that. I mean, granted, the people are still getting hurt. People, that's the biggest misconception with it. Yeah, people think it's fake and they're not getting hurt. Like, no. It's fake, but they're doing everything real. Like they're getting hit, they're fucking slamming and shit like that. And sometimes people do get fucking injured.
I believe it was either Randy Savage, or it was Hulk Hogan. Actually, I remember he said the production may be fake, but the blood is real. I mean, don't quote me on that exactly, but he said something along the lines of that, and that's very true. Like the production might be scripted, but the blood is absolutely real. Like that for the most part, if they things happen in the ring. I was actually watching an episode of a podcast that had Rey Mysterio on it. I can't remember what it was, but he was talking about his match with Logan Paul and how Logan Paul actually screwed up and like Rey Mysterio kind of corrected the move so it looked right. And it was absolutely insane, dude, the amount of
yeah, no, wait. I think I heard that. Didn't he save his life?
I mean yes, that was like the headlines that you've seen, but in the reality of it, I guess Logan Paul just like mistimed something or something along those lines, and Rey Mysterio just corrected it. Like it would have hurt, but like he would have been fine. It just would have looked bad. It was more of just like a cinematic correction to make sure the production went well.
So, for worst movies for me, I'm looking through every movie that came out this past year.
I know. I couldn't even remember them all that I've seen.
I would have to say
so many movies.
And people are probably gonna hate this. I'd probably say A Quiet Place Day One.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, actually, no. Fuck me. I'm so stupid. No, my bad. No, I know what it is. I know what it is, people. Let's be real. Let's all be real. Let's take this seriously. It's Madam Web. Okay, that thing was the biggest, horrendous piece of fucking garbage. That I'm sorry, but the fact that the what's her fucking name? The girl from 50 Shades of Grey, whatever that actress's name is, she was complaining afterwards about being in the film and stuff like that, and I'm like, you read the fucking script prior to accepting. I know you fucking did. And the fact that you read that shit and was like, yeah, I run them over twice. That makes sense. That's how a superhero movie works. Like,
it's they have table readings, they have proof readings, they have all that to make sure that everybody's like fucking par for the course.
And nobody thought around and was like, so we're just gonna pretend this is in the Spider-Verse, and like
Dude,
we're
you gotta
not
think
gonna
of a
see
lot of it
Spider-Man
too.
use his powers, except for like snapping
Oh,
a couple necks.
you gotta think that also like a lot of it's probably pressure from the producing studio too.
Well,
Like
Sony
you
fucks
can't
up on that, you
when you
know?
have such a hard time for it's like the same thing with video games now though. You get half the game when it comes out because they're on such a time crunch for a release window that you're missing out on the quality of it. Like take a look at Dragon Age Origins as far as an RPG. I don't know if you've ever played it. But
I've not.
it's a fantastic RPG. It's probably one of the best RPGs in my opinion that I've ever played in my life. And then you take a look at any newer RPG, and you will just you that if you're a true fan of RPGs, you will notice a very keen difference between the time periods in the early 2000s and games now. Which industry changes, that's normal, but I there's just a certain thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, over the last few years, I mean, there's only been really like a few games that like stick out in mind of like being flawless games. And one of those would be the God of War Ragnarok. That shit was fucking flawless and amazing.
Yep, that's
They
pretty
did
good. I enjoyed it.
but honestly, another thing is that a lot of
The
these games
Spider-Man
now
games.
revolve around them finding the right voice and also right people to mimic the movements and stuff like that. Because if they don't find the right people, it's just not
That's
gonna work.
fine,
Like,
but I'll be honest with you. Dragon Age Origins, to bring this game up again, has the most basic animations that you could probably have for a video game, and it is still one of the best times I've replayed that game countless times.
when did it come out?
So
I've never
it
heard of it.
came out. Dragon Age Origins. It came out in the early 2000s.
Honestly, I've probably seen the cover of the game. I just don't remember it off the top of my head.
It's right here. So it came out in 2009. So I guess a little bit later than I thought, but yeah, it was probably one of the best games that I have ever played RPG wise. Yeah, it came out in the.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
They came out with a second one, and then their most recent one was Inquisition. But it's probably one of the best BioWare RPGs I've played for sure.
Did BioWare also come out with BioShock, or I'm just thinking of the
No,
Bio?
I think that's a completely different studio. The BioWare RPGs are Mass Effect, Dragon Age are the two.
Okay, so
They
then
had
I'll give it to
Empire,
him because Mass Effect is
Prince
a
of
very
Persia.
extensive,
It's just-
well, Mass Effect. I say Mass Effect 3 is probably the best. Mass Effect 4 was because like Mass Effect 4 wasn't like it was okay, but I don't know. I thought it should have jumped a lot further in like how the game was played and stuff. Like I don't know, like with technology, I felt like it should have made a bigger leap than the previous
thing
game.
is though, you got to understand. So with the story of that game, and I've played it extensively. With how 2 and 3 are, it makes sense for them to do 4 the way they did it, but I don't like how it was done. I think it was very lacking. It wasn't the game that I thought it was going to be. My favorite Mass Effect's 2. You got to also remember that literally your choices from 1 and 3 travel over to the following game, so it's this constant universe that you're building. Dude,
oh, see, I never played the first 2.
Play it. Dude, I'm telling you, it changes the whole thing, but it's the same thing with Dragon Age. A little less important, but it still does it to where your choices in the first one affect the second and third. And now they're actually coming out with a fourth. Dragon Age Veilguard comes out relatively soon.
I mean, they're coming, and another thing too is they're coming out with a lot of. Well, now they're starting to come out with a lot of video game fucking movies. Like they came out with the Super Mario Brothers. They're coming out with Minecraft. That's coming out next year. With Jack Black, and
that'll be interesting.
Apparently, there's some actual lore to Minecraft. I never knew that. I thought it was just bullshit fucking playground. You jump in, you do shit.
You build and have fun. Like, it was a fun game. I played it, but yeah, same thing.
It's fun for like a week, and then you get, at least for me, I got super bored after a week. I was like, this is it. All I do is build shit and just keep dying. I don't really like this.
Well, it's like The Sims. I can only play it for so long before I don't touch it for months.
We'll see. My wife can play that for fucking ever. Like, she made me get her Sims 4 so then she could play it because, like, that's one of her favorite games. And I can only play it. I'll play it once when we first get the game, just to play around with it. But then, like, after a while, I'm like, this is boring
I
because.
like building houses. That's what dude. Like I literally just like designing houses.
So I mean, but they have like simulators now for like that shit. I mean, because they got
Sure.
car mechanic, they got power wash, they got. I bet you they have like a construction builder or something along the lines of that. Like one of my favorite games back in the day was Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Bingo, dude.
Roller Coaster Tycoon was legit. Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
Did you ever
I
play
had on the
Thrillville?
PC, and that I kind of wish they brought that back. Same thing with Guitar Hero. Even though they brought the whole thing with like that to fucking Fortnite, it's not the same. I want them to come out with a Guitar Hero again
Yeah,
with
an
the original
actual
guitars
for sure.
because I could play. That's one game I can play forever. And one thing I was gonna ask you that I forgot. I just reminded myself. Is there any game where you've completed every single achievement on?
Mass Effect. Literally Mass Effect. 100%. I've replayed. That is my all-time favorite RPG. Like you will never
Is there
find.
any others that you've completed 100%, or is that the only one?
Mass Effect for sure. I've gotten pretty close with Dragon Age, but I can't. I really don't like Inquisition, so I can't play it for long enough. I've gotten close in my recent Starfield playthrough.
So, that's one game that I've been wanting to play. That, and then I don't know if Star Wars Outlaws is out yet, but when that comes
It's
out,
not, but
that's another game that I want to play too because I've seen some of the trailer and the gameplay and stuff like that, and it looks
it looks pretty
similar.
cool.
It has a vibe of like Red Dead Redemption, but like Star Wars style.
I do wish you could create a character. Like I don't. I like RPGs where you're set with a character, but I also like to create my own identity within the game.
Well, did you ever play the PC version of like Star Wars: Old Republic, like where you could create
Oh
your own
yeah.
character?
Oh
So
God,
I
yes.
mean that's another thing. I mean they redid like the graphics and they brought it onto PlayStation for like one of like the catalogs or whatever for like the old ones.
Yeah, same thing they
Um
did with Bounty Hunter.
and I started playing that for a while. But for me, the two games that I completed 100% and I will complete the next one eventually when I get it is Spider-Man. Spider-Man and then
Spider Man.
Spider-Man Miles Morales. I completed that 100%. I completed
Dude,
every
such
single
good
side fucking
games.
mission, every single fucking thing because
The
those
only reason I own a PS5.
that's why I need to get another PS5. I sold mine a while ago. And then because like I wasn't really gaming that much, and then my friends wanted to game again, and then some newer games came out, and so I ended up getting a PlayStation 4 again for cheap, and that was around like when God of War Ragnarok came out because I wanted to play that. And then now with the no longer you can play PS4 and PS5 together on games such as like EA Sports games and stuff like that, they made it impossible now, which is a bitch. So now you have to get a PlayStation 5 in order to play with my friends and play like Dynasty, especially for the newest NCAA. Because that's one game that I really want super fucking bad, but I can't get yet because I'm fucking shit out of luck. I'm still playing fucking Warzone and Fortnite over here, and I hate it.
That's
I hate it so much. Fortnite used to be it was good when it first came out, and then
it dropped
they
off.
that and it just became too what do you call it? Too transactional.
Yep.
That's I mean that's how games were coming
I mean that's the way it
to
is now. Though.
nowadays.
Find
Well, yeah, with
a game that's not.
DLCs, especially Call of
Baldur's
Duty.
Gate would be the only one that comes to mind that doesn't have a ton of microtransactions. I think there's still.
What about Elden Ring? I feel like Elden Ring doesn't either.
Never, be surprised I never played it.
Well,
I can't do
I've never played it either.
games. I can't do the Souls like games because I'm not good enough.
I'm not a big I'm
I'm
not into that type of genre. That's why I couldn't really get into Skyrim too. Even though I will say like Skyrim is I give its props. But like I tried playing it because I gave it more of a shot in VR when I had my Quest too. And I don't like spiders. And in the first like couple seconds, you have to deal with a fucking spider, and I was like, nope, not dealing with it. plus that game and like one other game, the flying air or Ace Combat.
I love
That
Ace Combat, man.
playing that in VR, I don't get VR sick. Like VR, like I'm pretty good with
Messed
VR,
you up,
but
huh?
that game and also Star Wars Squadrons, I
Dude,
couldn't play more than 10 minutes. I literally felt like I was gonna die.
under my desk, I literally have a flight stick and a whole setup for games like Squadrons and Ace Combat. Dude,
Really,
I love games like that.
dude.
Any excuse to pull that out, dude. I love it.
So I used to have a setup for that. I used to also have like a driving wheel, but then I sold that a long time ago and stuff like
I
that.
had one when I was a kid, but
But the driving wheels nowadays have gotten a lot better.
oh yeah, well they're like authentic. You
Well,
can
that
get
and they have like the
authentic
push
ones.
to start. They also have more. One thing that was always a problem with those fucking wheels is that the pedals were never like they never had something on the bottom to make them stay or whatever. So like when you pushed, they went forward, and then you were fucking eventually doing a fucking split while you're still driving and shit, and then that's not helping anybody. And yeah, video games have gotten
Insane.
crazy. And hopefully down the road we'll have full dive VR. That's what I'm looking forward to. My wife isn't. She already said if there's ever a virtual afterlife, she is not doing it. I told her that she is a loser for not doing it because I'm 100% doing that. Have you ever watched the show on Prime Video Upload?
No.
All right, watch that and then tell me you don't want a virtual afterlife. All right,
Dude,
because that shit it's about a future world where there's a virtual afterlife. There's a bunch of different companies that have virtual afterlives and shit. But basically, like you can see your friend, or you can see like the people alive and stuff like that. But you're also dealing with like people that have been like dead for a long time and stuff like that. And sometimes, depending on what picture they upload when they upload you, you're different and stuff like that. Like there's one character in there that like her picture that they used was like a black and white picture from when she was like super young, and she's like an old lady but she looks super young in the afterlife. And like, but I just want afterlife, or the virtual afterlife, for no pain in my back.
Fair enough, man. When we wrap this up, I'll put it on my list to go watch.
Okay, I got you. Actually
Catch myself up.
we actually should probably, oh fuck, I'm gonna end up breaking my phone eventually.
You did it now.
But we should probably start to end this. So let me go ahead and hit this too, because I didn't do this with the first start off. But thank you for listening to another episode of Raw and Roasted, guys. We're gonna cut it now because I feel like the 2 hour mark is a good mark for our podcast, especially with guests and stuff like that. Again, I just want to remind people our next episode will have Famous Rico on from We the Family, which is a independent label, and they are close to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And he'll be coming and talking to us a little bit about his music, and also we're gonna dive a little bit into some other kind of I don't know, other topics that he might not be usually like talking about and stuff like that, because we want to get his opinion with him being, from a different state and in a different, social climate and stuff like that, and see what he thinks about things and stuff. But Mark, what do you think about this episode? You think we did good?
I think we did good. I think we gonna have to call in the cavalry to assist us in our spontaneous lookups, but for the most part, I think we got it down.
Yeah.
Look forward to the next one.
We'll definitely be getting a producer here soon, guys, so we can start getting this stuff a little more streamlined in a sense. But all right, guys. You want to know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna play. So this was originally our theme song, but I didn't want to use it because it's.
Welcome to the show, it's Raw and Roasted. Comedy and chaos, yeah, we boasted. Life's a wild ride, can't coast it. Buckle up tight, don't ghost it.
It's too long. It's like 30 seconds. I gotta make like a 15-second one for like something different or whatever.
We'll talk about that. I got some. We might be able to whip something up pretty quick.
Okay. All right. But all right, guys. Till the next one. Stay high, stay light-minded, and be nice to your fellow handicapped. Okay.
Peace.
Peace, guys.